Alright, now I have two things. I have a title slide and I have my first piece of video. Alright, so all I'm going to do now with this is I'm going to put a transition in between. Two ways you can do it. You can either click and drag the film dissolve over top, okay, and drop and drag. Now notice, I'll zoom in so you can see it. You got to be careful with this because if you do it wrong, you may only have it on one side of the video. And that's fine, but it's not going to cross over. Remember what a dissolve is doing, is a dissolve is stealing video from each side to make a transition. And if you're not careful, you might put it on that side either. I actually want it to bridge the two together. What a dissolve is doing is it's borrowing a little bit of video from this clip and a little bit of video from this clip and blending the two together in what's called a dissolve. So you get a little bit of both as a transition in between. So if we watch the whole thing now, we have two dissolves with two pieces of video. One is a title slide, my summer vacation, and then of course you dissolve into the actual video, the summer vacation. Now, again, I watched that in real time. I stopped my edit here because I don't need this part. My gut reaction was telling me, move on to your second piece of video. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. This is where you have to be careful because this is where you can get into the road of jump cuts. Jump cuts is when you have the exact same video or video subject and you don't put a transition in between it and it jumps from one part to the next. For instance, if I have this shot here, okay, I'll put this one up next. Set my endpoint. Watching it in real time, my gut reaction tells me that's my out point. Drag and drop. Okay. The other way that you can do a quick way to do dissolves is, and you can't see this obviously from watching the video, but just press Control and D at the same time. What that does is it takes your default transition and applies it here. Two things that you have to do. Let me just undo it so you can watch it again. Make sure your time selector, this red light, this red line, is actually over top of where you want to place the default. But again, hold the Control key and simultaneously press the D key. D as in Dave, and you'll have your dissolve. And again, now you have a nice smooth transition between the two. Gut reaction and good. Let that little bird go by there if you see him on the bottom there. Nice little seagull. Let him go by, let him out, and boom. That's the end of that shot. Okay, back to the jump cut part. I'm going to go to this shot next. And this shot, which I like the morning sun, I'm going to take this clip next and here. Now, here's where a jump cut is. Let's say I like a shot here on the back end of here as well. And right now, I'm going to just say, well, I don't want to end this clip yet. I actually want this part. For some reason, you know, it looks the same, but it's different. And now I want this clip. If I take this and I drag this down and drop this, just like these other ones, watch what happens when I go from this side to this side. Ready? See it jump. That's a jump cut right there. It has changed. It's slight, but it has changed. First of all, you shouldn't do this. You should have some kind of clip in between as a buffer, and then you can come back to this. But a lot of times, amateur videos have these jump cuts in them. One thing that will help this, and again, I wouldn't choose to put this one back to back with its almost clone here, but if you wanted to, you could put a transition in between it, and you'd have a blend, which actually makes a funky little appeal to it. I wouldn't do this, but if you're going for a more artsy or funky look or abstract look, watch. You can actually blend it into that. So for now, we'll keep it. So basically, again, you go back to this, is you have transitions now. Make sure you have transitions in between all your shots because it gives it a nice, smooth look. Very professional look to things and very easy to do. And here comes your funky abstract one. All right, so it's time to move on to the ocean. Okay, as I always do, I'm going to save because I just made a lot of moves and you never know when your computer might crash on you because video cards and video files are huge. So the next thing, again, let's go back to our title. Remember we made test 2, which was the beach. Taking this now, the other one, title 1, was our opening title sequence. I wanted it by itself. But the way titles work in Adobe is they are actually not on a black background. They are actually opaque, which means this is see-through. They look like they're over top of black, but that's only because there's nothing underneath it right now. So if you put video underneath it, and I'll find my video of the actual beach, the ocean, okay, and let's go ahead and use this one. in this case I actually want that gnat sound because it's the ocean and that's really relaxing to me. So I'm going to take the whole thing and drag it right down there. Now watch what happens. Again, this title looks like it's on top of black, but it's not. It's see-through. In other words, whatever I put underneath it, boom, it's going to appear through it. Remember that Adobe works in layers, meaning whatever on top gets red and whatever's underneath gets red. But if you have two pieces of video, they're not transparent. So, for instance, if I take this clip and put it over top, the only thing that's going to appear is that clip. It's not going to see through. Titles, though, are see-through. So I want this one here. And I want to fade that up as well. So I'm going to put a transition here in the video part, and I'm also going to put a transition at the beginning of that title because I want that to kind of ease in when you watch this thing. The other thing, let's go to the other transitions, which are audio transitions. I want this gnat sound in there, but I don't want it to be jarring because listen to what happens now if I don't put an audio transition in. It just kind of comes up really harsh. I don't want that. I want it to ease in. So if I go to my crossfade under audio transitions, crossfade, constant gain, constant power, exponential fade. They're all kind of the same, really. But this is one that I use pretty often, which is constant power. Again, it's my default. Now listen to the difference. It fades up. So all of a sudden now, if you wanted to make a good video about your summer vacation or whatever theme you choose, you now have things you can do. Now let's say that roaring ocean is still a little too loud. Well, that's no problem either. Just to show you quickly here. If you click on your audio and then right-click it, you're going to get audio gain. Again, click on your audio clip, right-click, audio gain. Here it's set to 0. I'm just going to say -8. And it's going to bust that down a little bit, and now it's going to be a little softer. And I'm going to put a transition on the back end of my title because I want that to also be smooth. Okay, and there you go. Together. Fade out. Perfect. Okay, one last thing that you would do is if you had an audio track that you wanted, and I'll just go ahead and quickly import one just for the sake of the let's see what we got. Inner Life Scenescape sounds nice, and I have no idea what any of these are, so I'll just grab a random one and throw it in and see what happens. So Inner Life Scenescapes. Sure, that's great. Okay, so let me just put that down in 2 because I can go in multi-layers here. And now, again, a professional videographer, what you want to do here is you want to have a little bit of black in the beginning. But you want your music to start before your video. Again, think of any film that you've ever watched. You want your audio to start over black so your video fades up. This is the way movies are edited. So why fight it? This is exactly what you do in professional videography. And when you're done, here's how it'll look. Starting from 0, audio first, then your video. Watch it all together. Not bad at all. Again, one thing to always think about is sound design. Sound design is nothing more than the marrying together of a track like this with gnat sound like that gives you this kind of visual. If you play a song and you can visualize a video, then you're obviously a video editor or a cinematographer of some type because you're wired that way. And don't fight that. That's a great thing to be in any type of professional video situation. If you can close your eyes, hear a song like this, and picture the beach, well, then you should be making a video like this. And that's, again, sound design. That's the reason it works so well. And I hope now you know more about titles and transitions with Adobe CS 5.5. I'm Mr. Thomas, and thanks again for watching.